Podcast Republic app wants to make it easy for you to find your favorite podcasts.
I just think everyone who wants to listen to podcasts should be able to favorite their favorite podcasts and listen to them instantly on their favorite devices.
They don't even want to make you pay for the privilege of getting your favorite shows.
I firmly believe this should be free to all citizens of the world at large.
They have a 4.5-star rating with 70,000 reviews on the Google Play Store. But why trust them? They don't sound like this.
Podcast Republic app is available for free on the Google Play Store.
Quick reminder here, folks, want to do it right at the top of the show. We have a crazy dumb thing on offer for the month of February because it's our birth month and it is our favorite holiday on the show, Fourbruary. We have decided that if we go up to the $80 tier on our Patreon page, that's a group support level. That's not individual donations. No one has to donate $80.
But if you want to, hey.
There is an $88
We'll figure out some extra special things if you're like, I'll give you $80 personally.
Well, there's an $88 tier. It exists already. You can hit it, you know, if you really want to go buck wild. But we are currently, as of the time of this recording, at $54 a month. If we get to 80 in the month of February, we will not only do our special commentary track for all Patreon supporters, no matter if you pledge $2 or $100, everybody gets it. We are going to do a power hour for the first hour of the movie, so it should be pretty stupid in a good way, I hope. So jump over to patreon.com/dissectingthe80s and find your pledge level today. Anybody who pledges at the $5 level instantly gets 3 bonus episodes: The Great Muppet Caper,
Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
and Top Gun. So if you want to hear those episodes, $5 a month, you get them all immediately. Thanks so much for listening to the show. We really appreciate your support. Welcome to Dissecting the 80s. I am the sentient cold virus that's taken over the body of Tripp Leno. And with me, as per usual, is a man who you wouldn't like when he's angry. The Macho Man Drew.
Andrew Leno. And that is very true. I am not a fun person when I'm angry. I like to isolate myself.
You do a very incredible Hulk-like, set yourself away from people, gently stroke your inner arm. Yeah.
Like, look, guys, I need an attractive person to stroke my palm. I almost said Charlize Theron. It's not her. It's Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that what it, or it's the wrist?
Yes.
It's like, whatever. There's a lot of movies.
I also would like to point out that you have now doomed yourself because you said, I need an attractive person to stroke in audio form on the internet. And someone is going to edit in you saying a bad word later and put that together. Not me, because I couldn't possibly. But someone out there is going to edit that into something salacious.
And that will be the most damning thing that's ever existed of me, I'm sure. There's nothing else that could possibly exist that would be more damning than that.
There's going to be a negative attack ad that's like, do you want an 80s podcast that talks like this?
If we get into a public, Twitter war with another 80s podcast, I'm 100% here for it. But only if we do, 80s style, campaign ads for, pro us. Where there's sweeping beautiful shots of America, pastoral America.
Yeah. I actually just found a stock footage website that's free use, so maybe we could do that.
Oh, perfect. Morning podcasts are a little more fun than evening podcasts, I'm learning.
Yeah. This is to peel back the curtain a little bit. We're recording this at about 11 in the morning on President's Day, since we both had off, and this is the only time we could do it. So that's why you're hearing me with a cold, because we were busy, and I was hoping to be over this, but I am not. It's Fourbruary. So we watched The Incredible Hulk Returns from 1988 on NBC, and you know what that means.
We gotta go back. We gotta go dissect the 80s. It's your obvious backdoor pilot. Something's gotta be done about your obvious backdoor pilot.
When the mega powers explode.
I'm talking about the 80s. Oh, yeah.
Great Scott.
Cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Mega powers, yeah.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
So yes, this was a backdoor pilot for an attempted Thor series.
Which is funny because it's not like The Incredible Hulk was on the air and this was just a random movie. Like, this was
right
4 years after the show had been canceled or so.
Yes.
Which
so
is,
the
it's a weird format for a backdoor pilot.
It is. So I'm fascinated by this era of television. I've been like recently reading a fair bit about it. So the reason why we're considering this the fourth Hulk movie, and don't add us, they did 2 movie length like pilots for the show, then decided to make a show, which we're going to count as movie number 3, even though it was like multiple seasons of television. And then this is the first movie back. There is another movie after this that I guess could have technically been the fourth Hulk movie, but it's like a courtroom drama.
When we're running out of 4s, we'll grab that one and retcon.
Yeah.
Because that's very 80s.
Yes. But also, that one's like a courtroom thing, and I just didn't want to watch the Incredible Hulk sit in a witness or defend whatever he said. Oh my God, the cold
witness
medicine.
stand?
Yes, thank you. Jesus.
You were right. You were on the right path.
Anyway.
I feel like the Incredible Hulk has never been well portrayed on film. Like, Mark Ruffalo's really close.
Yeah.
But there's like there's an interesting tragedy to the Hulk that I feel like is not looked at. Like the whole superhero dynamic of like, I can't love because I need to keep you safe if anyone finds out. But like for the Hulk, there's a step further of like, when I am my superhero, I don't control myself, and you could get hurt by me.
Right. Except, did you see Thor Ragnarok?
Yes, I did actually. That was the fun one.
Because Hulk's just like walking around having conversations in that movie. It was very confusing to me.
Oh, I forgot. It's been a while. I see. So my friend is a huge Marvel nerd. Shout out, Matt, if you're listening. And we were going to see Avengers: the one where they all vaporize at the end. I can't remember what it's actually called.
Spoilers.
And I was like, oh, by the way, I'm like real behind. I haven't like Doctor Strange is the latest one that I've seen. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And the movie's in like 4 hours. And he was like, well, let's watch this one. This is the fun one. So we watched Thor Ragnarok before Avengers.
Yeah. I had a coworker who like really wanted to see that and was asking like, oh yeah, I should go check this out. And then me and another coworker who've seen all of the Marvel stuff were like, well, have you watched any of the other ones? And she was like, yeah, I saw the first Avengers. And I was like, no, it just won't be a good time at the movies. It's like watching
the third Avengers, right?
Yes. Well, the fourth one is the one coming out shortly, which is why we did superheroes this month.
Right. Avengers: you'll see it.
It's over
Avengers: we'll still make them.
No, it's the Avengers: Tripp gets off the ride because it's been 11 years and he's done. It's literally 11 years of my life I've been watching your stupid movies.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Westerns were big for a while and went away. I'm sure superhero movies will do the same.
But it's not superhero movies, it's Marvel movies. Because all the other ones still suck. Like, there's every once in a while you get an okay watchable superhero movie that's not from the Marvel thing, but everything else is
rare,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like people have said that a lot. It's like, oh, it's a superhero transfer. It's like, yeah, but all the cash-ins are generally pretty stinky. Wonder Woman was pretty good. I didn't see Aquaman because I like just can't possibly care. I just don't have it in me to care.
Jason Momoa is attractive, but I can look at still shots and get the same effect.
Right, and he was good on SNL, and I enjoyed their like Aquaman jokes and whatnot about it. But I cannot possibly care. So it's interesting. It's like it's not just that it's superhero movies, because when Westerns were big, everybody's making Westerns, and it wasn't like, oh, all the good ones are this connected series of whatever ones.
That's true. So a little bit of a further deep dive, just because I'm a nerd with a microphone. They made the Suicide Squad a few years ago, whatever. It was garbage. We all acknowledged that it was garbage, except for Margot Robbie, who was just in her own movie and like was living her best life. I love Harley Quinn. She's tattooed on my body. And so they were like, oh, we're going to make a Harley Quinn movie. And Margot Robbie was like, well, she can't be by herself. And I was like, you shut the fuck up, Margot Robbie. Let her be by herself. So they were like, we're going to make a Joker Harley movie. It'll be like When Harry Met Sally, but the Joker and Harley. And then they're like, you know what? We're going to make a Gotham City Sirens, which is Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, and Catwoman. And I was like, that's so much better. And then they're like, you know what? We're going to do Birds of Prey instead. And it's going to be Harley Quinn, a character you don't know called Huntress, another character you might know called Black Canary, and then a random little girl. And then they showed a teaser footage. And if you thought they screwed up Suicide Squad costuming, just you wait.
I thought they were still making all of those.
No, so I think, from what I think, they're doing the Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Oh yes,
That's its own thing. So that got when Harley met Joker
when
got bumped.
did the Joker become this like role that everybody was like, if I don't get to play the Joker before I die, it's like it's the Joker is the Hamlet of this century, and I don't think it makes any sense.
Well, I think it's because I'm guessing it's because 10 Things I Hate About You, Joker from The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger. I think it's because he did such a really good job at the Joker, and
But so did Jack Nicholson.
He did, but Heath won an award for it.
Yeah, because he died.
I know that.
But everybody should know that. We're not like that intelligent. We're two doofuses on the East Coast. We're not like power brokers in Hollywood. Like, you'd think some agent somewhere wouldn't be up their client's ass and be like, hey, it wasn't that he played the Joker, it's that he died and everybody was sad about it.
I think it's because they get to then do all those interviews talking, and I am also an actor, so I shit all over my own people when I say talking about the craft and how like this character was a deep dive and it was hard because all those stories from Jared Leto on the set of Suicide Squad being like did all this garbage like in character Joker stuff and then was on screen for approximately 3 seconds.
If I am not a violent person, but if someone sent me a used condom with a rat in it or whatever else he was doing, I would have punched him in the face. Like, I would have knocked on his door, and when he opened it, I would have punched him, and then I would have thrown it at him and been like, if you do this again, I'm going to beat you to death with it. Like, I'm going to use it as a weapon. I cannot even imagine opening
Well, this is
a box.
also the movie set where the director came in and shaved someone's head without telling them.
Yeah, I know. It's
So like
just
this is not like a standard this isn't, Jaws where it's like, guys, we're all trying our best here. I'm sorry, we're all wet and cranky and the shark doesn't work.
But like,
let's shave your head. Bzz.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Someone being like, hey, we have to shave your head for this movie or you're fired is probably equally emotionally manipulative. But the part where I'm opening a box with a used condom and a dead rat in it is a way different world. It
wasn't we have to shave your head or you're fired. It was we have to shave your head, Buzz. There was no conversation.
I see. Well,
that's where I come from.
In any case, they tried to make their Guardians of the Galaxy. They failed. Then Disney fired James Gunn. We're not getting into the whole thing. And they were like, hey, you just want to make that movie for us? And it's totally fine.
Wait, what?
James Gunn is directing the second Suicide Squad movie.
They're making a second Suicide Squad? Not Birds of Prey?
Well, no, in addition to...
Why?
Because they wanted to make
the first one.
Right, but they were like, we wanted to make Guardians of the Galaxy. We failed, so let's just hire the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy because he's suddenly available.
But like, you don't just get to make that's not how sequels work.
Well, it is now because everything is a mess. Anyway, we have talked long enough about not the Incredible Hulk returns.
This is going at the end of the episode, isn't it?
It's probably getting put to the end of the episode.
This lovely nerd conversation
too long. It has nothing to do with the topic. So the Incredible Hulk returns. It's the quasi fourth entry in the Hulk series. We start with a quick explainer of like, this is David Banner, and he had to run away because of gobbledygook science things.
Faked
and
his own death?
Yes.
So here's my question.
Who's tuning into this movie having never seen an Incredible Hulk thing before? I don't know. And I thought it was a little unnecessary. And then I started watching this movie and I was immediately lost.
I'm lost the entire time. Half of my notes are questions.
So I went from, why are we doing this? Everyone knows what we're here for, to, oh my God, they should have done so much more information dumping in the beginning. Because I don't
needed
understand
the Gem and the
anything.
Holograms theme song that explains the canon of the universe.
Yes, I absolutely need some explanation.
So, like, there are a lot of superheroes that exist in the world.
Yes.
And I would say most of them are not giant, muscular green people.
Right.
So why would you pick that one to, like, why is that your, like, keystone superhero? Why wouldn't you, like, Captain America is just can look like a dude with a shield. Ask Universal Studios Florida.
Right. And also, like, Batman had been a successful television show, so you'd think Superman would be the next piece over, although I guess he does fly. You got to avoid the flying for budgetary reasons, and you would think you would also feel like you'd have to avoid turns into a giant green monster, but no,
Although
that is not the case.
Superman was movies at this point, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably why they avoided TV.
Well, that, and also I just don't think they could pull off the flight effects.
Yeah, like, it's such a weird choice. And also, when he transforms, I was like, that's not Hulk. That's just a really buff guy in green paint. And then I realized 80s Hulk is just today's regular heroes.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. It's really funny later when you see Thor, who, by the way, did you recognize who that was?
Not for what you probably recognized him for.
Little John from Robin Hood Men in Tights?
No, I mean, yes, kind of, but it's been a minute since I've seen that.
Did you also watch that a lot, or was I flying solo on all those watches?
I watched a couple times, probably just because you were watching it, but I wasn't absorbing it.
I watched that movie like a lot of times.
He was on a Disney Channel show at like the tail end of my like watching the Disney Channel.
So like when you were 17?
Yeah, but so like watching, I'm like, oh, are they going to show like Hannah Montana from like 3 years ago? No, you idiot. That's not a thing anymore. And I'm like, what is this show? And I would watch an episode and be like, this is dumb. He played a dad on a TV show on the Disney Channel in the late aughts.
What show?
It's called Good Luck Charlie.
Okay. I don't know.
And
it wasn't a breakout success, I'm guessing.
No, although I think it had lesbians, so that's cool. I want to say it was like a girl made like. So do you remember in 30 Rock when Jack thought he was dying and made tapes for his daughter?
Yes.
I think the premise was that a girl was making tapes for her little sister to help her get through life.
She was dying?
No, not because she was dying. Just because.
Oh my God! I was like, that's such a grim turn for children's television.
I mean, 90s Disney probably would have done it. They did some dark shit.
Hey guys, this is Ashley, and I'm still dying. Today we're gonna learn how to do a smoky eye.
You doing your videos for your little sister?
Shut up, Mom!
Doing your vlogs? That's good. Stay occupied.
First, you're gonna need...
No, you started this. You keep going. I want to hear what you think you need first for a smoky eye.
Some mascara.
That is a thing, yes.
Yeah. And then we're gonna need some eyeliner pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, to get the appropriate level of smudging, we're gonna need some liquid mascara and a wide brush and a little bit of water to dab our fingers in.
If anyone out there is an animator, I will pay you $50 to animate that segment because I want to see what that looks like. Liquid mascara.
Is that not a thing?
No.
I feel like mascara is liquid.
No, liquid liner is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No eyeshadow to make a smoky eye, by the way, listeners. You don't need eyeshadow.
I thought the liner and the liquid stuff would be plenty. Anyway.
This movie's not good, in case you can't tell that we're 17 minutes in.
It's not just not... Well, it won't be 17 minutes because a bunch of this discussion is getting moved because I can't possibly do that to our audience. But it's not just that it's bad. It is completely incomprehensible. And I was like... I'm glad that you're echoing the same thing because I watched this while taking a whole bunch of Sudafed and I was like, maybe I'm just too stoned on cold medicine. But no, it's incomprehensible. Even though Wikipedia is hard to understand.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And the craziest thing is that, like, this movie doesn't come hot off the heels of a TV show where, like, oh,
no.
You know, if you've been watching the 4 seasons of the show, you'll understand that. Like, there's been a 5-year gap and this movie just goes in media res, and it's like Hulk's living with this girl on the beach, like in Loaded Weapon.
Well, he also lives with a woman on the beach in Lethal Weapon.
Oh, is that? Oh, never mind. That's probably where that joke comes from then. And they're engaged. They're like serious dating, but she doesn't know he's the Hulk. Also, he goes by David Banyan instead of David Banner because what?
And people who are looking for him can't figure it out. And I'm sorry, but you added one letter. If I was looking for Andrew Lano and then I was Googling around and I found Andrew Lane. Yeah, Lane with an A at the end, I'd be like, that's probably the guy. That's probably still him. I should investigate.
Or is it a double troll of like, there's no effing way he picked David Banyan as his fake name. He's a physicist.
He's hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, like why would a physicist pick the same name as his hidden name?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying there. So anyway, it's been 2 years since he's had a Hulk out, and he's like working on, doing his meditation and whatnot to keep his stuff under control, which is the thing they did in the, the better versions of these as well. And then we're getting like a tour of the lab where he works. And
blah, blah, fake energy science.
Yeah, it's this gamma machine and, blah, blah, blah. And he won't take credit. They're like, you single-handedly came in here and saved this. He's like, nah, it's a team effort. And they're like, yeah, but it only existed after we hired you. And he's like, nah, team effort, not me. Don't put my name on anything, please. Not specifically.
And I like that the head of the company, like in the movie today, the head of the company would be like, and I created everything. No involvement from anyone else. But in the 80s, they're like, please, we want to give you appropriate credit. Like, that's so weird to me.
Yeah, that is not the way things work anymore. So he goes down to the lab and he pops in a CD-ROM and starts playing.
It's interactive CD-ROM.
He starts playing Duke Nukem 3D for a while.
Chex Blaster.
Oh man, I was just explaining that to somebody recently,
it's so hard.
The reaction they had was like, "You are making this up," and I was like, "No. The cereal company paid a programming company to reskin the very violent video game Doom to be a cereal-based blaster game. It was just Doom, but
if you
cereal.
ate rice Chex with a spoonful of sugar like we did growing up, you could have played Chex Blaster.
Yes,
tweet us if you did.
Chex Mix, the ideal way to eat Chex, garbage cereal. I'm sorry, it's a savory food, not a sweet one.
If you have to add sugar to your cereal, that's not good cereal.
Yeah, I'm not into a savory cereal.
This isn't porridge.
You're right. It is if you let it sit for more than 8 seconds, though.
That's true.
The half-life of a Chex is before as soon as it hits the milk, you have about an 8-second window to get that in your mouth, or it will just be a bowl of porridge.
You better be shuffling fast.
Yeah, you have to eat Chex Mix one pour at a time. It's like you put milk in the bowl, you do a quick sprinkle, eat, and then another quick sprinkle, and then eat. Because if you fill a
one bowl of dry cereal, one bowl of milk, and you spoon the dry cereal, dip it into the milk, and then in your mouth.
You have to dunk it.
Yeah. Chex Mix is the best. I'm a cheddar Chex Mix man myself.
No, I homemade classic. I want just like a.
Oh, I love a homemade classic, but if I'm buying at the store, I'm gonna buy cheddar.
I'm always disappointed by a purchased Chex Mix. Anyway, the set design is actually pretty cool of this lab. Like I really dug it. It's got a bunch of weird machines that make no sense from a scientific standpoint.
The blinking flashing lights and the countdown timers. Speaking of countdown timers, he's like, so I think it's not explained. The movie doesn't explain it to give you our signature quote. I think the idea is that this gamma machine blast is going to remove the Hulk from him and rejoin him as one person again.
Yes, exactly.
So he's like, so he puts in his interactive CD-ROM, takes 2 hours to download the software, and then it's like, he has to go sit in front of the machine. And in normal movies, you'd sit down with 10 seconds left, 5 seconds left. He sits down with 30 seconds left, and we have to cut around the room and the countdown clock, and I was like, guys, stop padding this runtime.
Right. Also, couldn't it have been set up so that he could sit in the machine and hit the button from the machine? Why is he doing it like you're doing a group picture? Well, why are we doing a group picture where you set the thing up and you're like, all right, 10 seconds. Yeah, all right, I'm coming on the left side. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5. Everybody smile. Everybody smile.
Keep holding it till the flash hasn't gone off.
Right. So a guy intrudes, and he's like, it's me, Donald Blake, your old student. And I'm like, should I know who this is? And I Google, and this is the only appearance of this character in anything.
No, it's not. In movies, maybe, but not in the comics.
When I looked it up on some, Wikia, whatever, for Marvel, it was
he is a person on Earth, blah, 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 in his only appearance.
So I think in some instances of Thor, he is the Clark Kent to Thor. Like, Odin created a wimpy, lame body for Thor to be dropped into until he finds his hammer.
Gotcha.
Like, you're too high and mighty. Better stick you in a wimpy dude.
That makes sense. So he comes in.
OG Thor is just a service provider. He's his TaskRabbit.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it stinks. But he shows up and is like explaining that he found this sarcophagus and inside it was a hammer, and now he has this hammer and he can wield the power. And David Banyan is like, yeah. But I got a thing I'm doing here. Can you just like let me get rid of this Hulk real quick, and then we can do whatever you got to do. And he sets off Thor in the laboratory.
Yeah, he buries the lead here, we'll say. Because he's like, oh, I found this, I was able to read all of these runic languages that I shouldn't be able to read, and I found this hammer, and it created this, it like brought forth a god in front of me, and I can control him.
The sets, by the way, for where he finds Thor and this hammer.
So cool.
It looks like Legend of the Hidden Temple.
I'm into it.
I kept waiting for like a boogeyman to jump out, and he'd be like, I only have half a pendant left.
He takes half your pendant.
Yeah. No, he takes the whole pendant if you got it, but if you don't, he takes you.
Oh, how'd you get half pendants then? How do they factor in?
You had to get the pendants in halves. You had to win 4 events to get 2 pendants.
Right. Okay, fair. Anyway, welcome to Dissecting
It's like you never watched Legends of the Hidden Temple. I thought you were my brother.
Dissecting the Hidden Temple. Mjolnir is super lame looking here. It looks like they went to Home Depot.
Yeah, I know. It's like a cheap handheld sledgehammer.
They sell better toys in downtown Disney for
They
Mjolnir.
sell better toys at the dollar store.
It's dumb. But yeah, so rather than being like, hey, Dr. Banana Pants, I have to tell you this crazy thing that happened to me. Watch this. Boom, I have a god in the room. What do I do? He like talks all about it. Like, show, don't tell.
Right.
Basic rule of improv, basic rule of life.
So he's like, look, open that case. There's a hammer in it. And David Bannon can just like casually handle Mjolnir. So I guess we're playing with different rules.
Yeah, I think I think Wikipedia said there was no worthiness enchantment on this version of Mjolnir.
I see.
Which seems silly. Also, the Avengers movies did not do any fun stuff with that. Like, Thor puts the toilet seat down and then puts Mjolnir on top of it. And it's like, do the dishes!
They did do that one scene where they all tried to pick it up at a party. And
then Cap could do it?
Yeah, and then they were quickly like,
yeah.
So for some reason, the chant to bring Thor in, it doesn't have anything to do with Thor, but instead relies on Odin, which I don't quite get.
He has to shout Odin, and I don't understand.
Hey, sir, can Thor come out and play, please? We were going to jump on a trampoline and then catch crickets. Like, what do we do? Why are we asking his dad for permission? He's a full grown man.
He is, and he's hunky.
So Thor shows up and he's like, I require a flagon of ale. Or I think it's water at first. Yeah, oh, is it? I thought he wants water. Anyway, he wants a drink of some kind.
He's thirsty.
He's very thirsty. So thirsty, in fact, he just starts indiscriminately yanking panels off the wall and breaking this machine.
It's unclear why he thinks there's fluid behind there to drink.
Right. Like, Thor, if we're going with, like, is a Viking god, has never been inside a room with technology, should be having a meltdown. Not just like, oh, this looks like the refrigerator.
Yeah. Like, I feel like there should have been... You know what? No, I had a thing and it's gone because I don't even know how to rewrite this scene to make it better. That it makes sense why Thor is ripping technology apart for water. We get really cool.
Just be like, what is this devil stuff? This is not the true power of life, and just start smashing.
This is Loki's mischief. Smash. So he and Hulk fight, and Hulk. So David Banyana will, when he turns into the Hulk, first he's David Banner, Banyana, whatever, with green eyes that are really cool looking. I love these contacts. And
they probably hurt so much.
Oh my god! There's no way that wasn't just hard plastic.
Yeah.
Painted with lead paint. So this is the first of many instances where the Hulk is basically a Disney princess, where he gets pushed and goes head first, shoulders back into something.
Yes.
And then looks up to reveal that he's got crazy eyes, instead of like leaning down and crying. Like he could easily do the princess shoulder cry because it's cheaper to animate shoulders than faces. Where he pulls up into the contacts, goes back down, and then they show close-ups on the clothes ripping.
But he also sounds like an elderly man who's worried about his heart condition, because like they're having the confrontation with Thor, and he's like, "Hey, I gotta stay chill. So just like you're no, please, I need to stay calm. I need to." And it's like the actor is in his 50s at this point, and he's an 80s person in their 50s, so they look like he's 108, and he's just like, please, no, please.
And I think that's an interesting aspect of the Hulk that I've not really seen kind of explored, that like why is it David Banner, not Bruce Banner? Do we know?
I think it was changed because some executive didn't like it, but if you notice, his tombstone at the beginning is David Bruce Banner.
Oh, okay. That like, actually, never mind. I guess he doesn't, because I was like, oh, it'd be interesting because like technically it's like all of the anger and bad stuff about Bruce got put into the Hulk. So like Bruce should be like the chillest mother effer on the planet.
Well, just like, obviously they couldn't do it back then because of macho bullshit reasons, but like, I don't know, how about a meditation class, man?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Some yoga.
So he gets thrown into this electrical panel, Hulk's out. Then it's everybody's favorite Lou Ferrigno. For
like a good portion of the movie, in the middle, I was like, oh, Captain Lou Ferrigno from wrestling. And I was like, nope,
not that guy. Did you notice that his pants are unbuttoned? And it doesn't look like a conscious choice. It looks like they were like, I don't know, we can't afford to buy new pants. So Hulk, you're just going to have to run around like you ate too much at a buffet.
like it's Thanksgiving dinner. Like 9:00 on Thanksgiving, 9 p.m.
The jeans are zipped all the way up, but the buttons popped open. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
They also try and trick us into thinking Hulk is tall, because when he's the Hulk, the like tatters and rips are at like mid thigh, and when he goes back to being like David Banner, they're like flood pants, so it's like at the ankle, the rips. And I'm like, he's not tall. Like they're probably within a foot of each other. He's not
for sure.
that much taller than David Banner.
No, they needed a couple more apple boxes.
Yeah, for sure. Just shoot from a low angle, guys.
Oh, they shoot a lot of low angles.
Also, explain why his pants stay on.
Because they can't show you that Hulk junk. I mean, that's the answer.
This isn't Watchmen. What I want to see is the Hulk where like he hulks out, but his waist stays the same. So that's why his pants stay on. So he's just like a full hourglass, like big ripped shoulders and broad chest, itty bitty, like 32-inch waist. And that's why the pants stay on.
He has to like constantly wear jodhpurs so that he can have his enormous thighs fit.
That's exactly what I want. I want 1940s director Hulk. This starlet won't hit her mark. Smash.
So also the part that I couldn't get over was how much of this fight is just shots of Lou Ferrigno doing like, and I'm sorry to use this guy's name, but it's the only person I can think of, like a Hulk Hogan flex where you like swing your arms and almost put your fists together. Like that's all he does. It's the same. He like goes like, and then they
just call it a wrestler flex.
I mean, it specifically was his.
I know, but like if we're gonna erase garbage from the lexicon, we can just say wrestler flex.
In any case, he does that same punch your fist together pose like 6 times, or they cut to it. It's just like, wait, throw a punch or a person or do something. He
does jump off the side of the building in not a dummy for the first time in a long time on this show.
Yeah, it was also very clearly a much smaller stunt double, which I thought was pretty funny. And then
the opposite of Buffy.
Yes. And then he runs away, and we got to the next morning, and he's stealing someone's shirt off a clothesline and clothespinning $10 in its place.
I like that the Hulk lands and is just like scares a person and then just awkwardly waddle runs away. Like that's the end. That's why you never see the Hulk leave a fight, because it is disillusioning.
Well, he has to run that way because his pants don't fit.
That's true.
Like, genuinely, they do not fit the person who's wearing them.
So Thor shows up in his California surfer bro.
Yes,
Sweatshirt.
but the same wig, which is a hoot.
It's the same wig and the same pants, no helmet, and then a surfer bro sweatshirt. So I don't know where the sweatshirt came from.
And it also implies that his armor is like 16 inches thick, because the Thor that we see walk in has this like huge chest plate on, to the point where like he looks like a kid with a pillow stuffed up his shirt.
Plus he's got, give him like fur shoulders.
Yes.
So it really like broadens and visually tricks you into thinking he's a big, broad, wide dude.
Right.
And like later we see him shirtless, and he's definitely put in some time at the gym and like is a ripped guy, but he is not the same level as Lou Ferrigno.
No, absolutely
on
not.
any scope. So yeah, he finds Banyer and brings him back to Blake, the student, and he's like, look, I need your help.
Yeah, and they have like a little powwow. Hulk scolds this dude for a while, which is very weird. It's like very parental and tonally odd. And then we cut to like the part that's supposed to make this a movie, and it's just incomprehensible.
Slow-mo racquetball.
Yeah, very sweaty dudes are playing racquetball. One of them is this guy Lambert, who's like half of the company he works for, which is called Lambert something.
Lambert and Adam. And again, because we haven't really... We've seen Lambert once, right? Was he the guy at the beginning?
I think he was
He
on
was
that
like,
tour,
you should take credit for this?
I believe so.
He's playing against this blonde guy who looks like he should be invading Nakatomi Towers. And he's like, hey...
He's a real dollar store Michael Shannon.
Yeah, I can see that. And I guess the implication is that like he wants them to steal the gamma transponder for reasons unknown.
Right.
It's yours. You own it.
Right. It's like they're trying to do a Jurassic Park thing with Wayne Knight. What the hell's that?
Yeah. Nedry.
Nedry, yes. And that would be okay if it wasn't like the top two guy at the company, because like why would he feel the need to do this?
But it's also like but it's not, because Lambert is not Nedry in this situation. Lambert is Dodgson in this situation, it feels like.
I guess
Which,
that's right.
if you are not a huge nerd, what I just said was Lambert is not the one who's doing the stealing. Lambert is the one getting someone to steal the thing.
Right. But it doesn't make any sense because he already owns the thing. So unless it's like, I need you to steal it so that I can sell it on the black market, which would be a thing, but isn't the thing.
It's not clearly explained. Because I guess the company said, like, we won't sell it for weapons tech, but, like, you could and be like, whatever. We're a greedy company in the 80s. No one's going to look twice.
Right, exactly.
Some shirtless rollerbladers happen, and then we cut to Blake's apartment, or is he in Banner's apartment?
I don't remember.
But he's somewhere.
Yes.
And Thor bemoans, he's like, I'm an errand boy, and it sucks because I'm a god.
Right.
And so Blake is like, fine, I'll take you to a biker bar that exists only in movies.
It really is a ridiculous place he takes him to.
It's the same bar from, I almost said Nonsense, from Sister Act, where Kathy Najimy puts the 60s girl group on the jukebox and starts dancing.
It's also basically the same biker bar from the beginning of either Terminator movie.
Yeah, it is.
Give me your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
It's also a real nice touch that Blake flinches every time Thor puts his hand on him.
Yes.
Like, doesn't know his own strength.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, the guy playing Thor, like, has some fun with it and does a pretty good job, but the movie doesn't know what to do with either of the characters in this partnership.
No, they don't. And it's crazy because they're the ones we're supposed to care the most about, because this is their backdoor pilot.
Right, exactly. David Bannon is supposed to be like a little piece that brings us in, but he is all over this movie.
It's so bizarre.
But I also love, like, Thor is like the biggest hit this bar's ever seen. He's drinking whole pitchers of beer in like 2 gulps. The women are all over him. He's doing arm wrestling contests. Like
He's taking bets like, I bet you I can drink this pitcher of beer. And they're like, sure, go for it. And everyone's like throwing dollar bills at him.
but like this should be the movie.
That's exactly what I like. It shouldn't have been Incredible Hulk Returns. It should have been Thor Discovered. A Thor is born. There could be 99 hammers at Home Depot, but one of them is Mjolnir.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a much more interesting movie if it's like, you know, suddenly this guy, and it's even, especially the way they do it in this movie where it's like an ordinary man, he shouldn't be 2 distinct individuals. It would make more sense if it was one guy becomes Thor, much like someone becomes Hulk. And
Like The Mask.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, I want it to be Thor the Mask, is I think what I'm trying to say. That's a shorthand.
Which is funny because the mask is Loki's mask.
Oh, that's right. It is, isn't it?
So, full circle.
So there's
There's too long of a montage. The bar scene is fun, and it's what I want the movie to be.
Yeah.
But it's too long of a montage to be a montage.
Why didn't? And it's also not. It's clearly not shot for montage because there's dialogue happening with characters that you cannot hear. Like they don't. They play music over it, but they're having a conversation.
And then they cut to them. They want to kidnap Banner for some reason. Like, when did that become the plot? That they want to kidnap Banner?
I guess it's like he knows how to do this technology, so if we can't get the technology, we'll just get the guy.
Again, unclear. Because David Banner's in the lab, and he sees a truck pull up to the security guard, and I was like, in today's Marvel movies, that security guard would just be shot.
Yes.
It would be like, hey, can I see your ID? Phew! That, like, impossibly silent gun that exists in movies.
Well, they're all magic tranquilizers. Everyone gets to go home and see their family at the end.
Oh, that's true. And David sees that the guard gets, like, switched out with someone else when he goes behind the truck, and then he goes outside, and there's what feels like this movie's Agent Coulson, but he's only in it for 2 seconds. He's like, Mr. Banner, something is wrong. And they go to the, like, security desk, and it's all new security guards. And this is the scene where a guy gets shot in the chest.
Yep.
But, like, stumbles back like, and then immediately starts fighting full force.
Yep. Not the only time that happens to this, mind you, but the first time. Also,
So dumb.
Charles Napier is, like, the number 1 heavy of the like the number 2 of this group.
The Southern guy, right?
Yeah, and he's been in, like, 1,000,001 different things, but has also been in the only episode of Murder, She Wrote that we covered on this podcast. Both of our tie-ins for Fourbruary have actors who are in only that episode. Actually, he was in one other, but that episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Birthday present to me.
How is that?
She Wrote connection.
It's inconceivable that would happen accidentally.
Inconceivable.
So, because later in the movie, they do actually say that they're out-and-out tranquilizer guns. I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, later they do, yeah, but I don't think they are in this scene.
No, they're not supposed to be.
And so he fights, and they all run away, and Hulk rips the door off, and I was like, isn't it a thing that, like, every car part has an identifier that can be tracked and traced?
I believe that's true now. I'm not sure it was then. You're saying, like, trace to what car it came from?
Yeah, and be like, oh, it was bought by this person. Because cars are tracked that way, right?
So I think if it was, like, your original pieces, probably in a modern car, like, there's some sort of fingerprint. But also, like, you could just buy a replacement door for a car. Like, if you got in a car accident, you just put a new door on there. So I don't think that would necessarily be, like, the fingerprint evidence you're pointing to it as.
Yeah. When I got hit by a deer, I had to get my door replaced.
So, like, that new door you have doesn't match your old one, obviously. Like, it matches it, but it's not, you know what I mean?
It's not like okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we go to we go to Hulk talking to his lady, being like, look,
this poor actress gets, like, 15 minutes of screen time in this movie. We're supposed to care about her, and we do not get any evidence as to why.
Yeah. And this is where I was like, if I'm the Hulk, I would just say I have a disease of some kind, and gamma radiation is the cure.
Right.
Because then, if it doesn't work, if the experiment to cure you of the Hulk doesn't work, you can be like, hey, the cure didn't work. Fake your death again and get out of Dodge.
Right, exactly. Like, I have
Become
bonitis.
David Banham.
I have bad. No, he just has to keep adding vowels.
Bagnoni.
Yeah, exactly.
He puts on a mustache.
Yes.
Bagnoni. David Bagnoni.
It's me, David
David
Bagnoni.
Bagnoni.
I make a spaghetti and also the secret lab experiment in the
It's
basement.
just cans of Chef Boyardee he dumps in a
Yes.
bowl
Yeah.
at his restaurant.
Yeah, he's like, please don't eat here.
We're closed.
Is this just SpaghettiOs? Mama's recipe.
Mine has a piece of the label in it. It's like him on the box, like with the like okay hand, but it's green.
Chef Bannon RD.
Chef Bagnoni.
Oh man, that's very stupid. So yeah, he's at the lady's house, and then the bad guys show up with a helicopter, and they're like trying to.
And tranquilizer sniper guns.
Yes, they're trying to get him, or they trying to get her out.
They're trying to get. So they realize that they failed to get him.
Right.
So they're like, I guess we'll just try and kidnap his girlfriend and use her as a bargaining chip.
But like, where was the scene where the boss of this group was like, all right, so just let me recap here. I sent 12 of my best men to capture a middle-aged scientist, and somehow you were unable to do that.
There kind of was when he's like, this green monster destroyed, like, stopped all of you. And it's like, yeah, you just said a green monster. Like, no shit, buddy.
Have you ever played Street Fighter 2? It's like Blanca, but without the hair. It was a literal green
Mortal
monster.
Kombat, it's Goro, but with 2 arms.
Like, I can't stress enough to you that I'm describing a literal monster.
So the bad guys inexplicably are dressed as policemen, even though they
Yes.
helicopter in.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not.
the police disguise is used when you're like sneaking in somewhere, like
Or just like knocking on the door and be like, ma'am, we're on a manhunt. We're looking for this person. Oh, by the way, this is chloroform. You know?
or like you need to come with us. We're here to keep you safe. Like
Yes.
you don't helicopter in a disguise because why?
And also, it's like, if you're going to helicopter in, you like helicopter in and land and then do the whole like rigmarole if it's an emergency, as opposed to just like flying in and start shooting trank darts from 600
It's
yards.
like bear hunting in Alaska. Just
Yeah.
like, pew, pew. So they tranquilize her.
The
Banana
dart
Pants
is
picks her up.
enormous, also. Sorry to cut you off. And the dart is
also-
so big.
It's the same thing they do in Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, where they show the person shoot and you hear the sound effect, and then they cut to the person holding the wound
Yes.
with the dart in between 2 of their fingers because
Yes.
it clearly has no way of attaching to them or their
Yeah.
garment. So it's just like a giant feather plume held between 2 fingers, and like, I feel woozy.
But like, you know, I've seen my fair share of goofy movies. Like, normally a trank dart is like a thick marker-sized piece of metal about 2 inches long and then a feather on the end. This thing is like,
A feather duster.
yeah, and it's also so thick. It's like it's like a summer sausage with a feather on the end of it.
No, it literally is like the thickness and length of the handle of a feather duster
Yeah.
with the full plume on the end. She looks
So
like
stupid.
she's about to start, like, pull it out, get the dust from the ceiling fan blades.
She unbuttons a couple of buttons and you realize she's got like the French maid outfit hidden under, and it was supposed to be like some fun role
was
play
part
for
of it
later.
together.
Yeah, it was like
She's
like,
Babette from Beauty and the Beast.
yeah, it's like, ooh la la, Mr. Bannon. And it was supposed to be like a real sexy fun time, and instead, no, it's a trank dart.
Yeah. So he throws her over his shoulder and tries to go inside, and they shoot him with a trank dart and send him through the glass window. Meanwhile,
There are 2 really good glass break stunts in the movie. This is the
Yes.
second one, but I like this one better because it goes from middle-aged man slowly backing into it to like a 14-year-old falling
with
through.
another 14-year-old over his
Yes,
shoulder.
exactly.
Blake shows up and summons Thor. Thor runs through the water, and it's hilarious.
Thor spawned in the water and had to run through it. Like that's real bad locational gameplay.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Hulk hulks out, picks up the marble top of a coffee table, and just starts, like, laying waste to some people.
Yeah, it's pretty fabulous.
Then he gets hit with a second trank dart, and it takes him out. And I was like, hashtag not my Hulk, because the Hulk I know could take, like, a round of trank darts, still keep fighting.
Right. And then we get both Hulk and Thor hanging on this chopper, and
But you don't see their legs.
No.
So you can't see that they are 6 inches off the ground.
Right. Well, then later there's like a scene where you can see him like doing almost like a pull-up on it, and it's the dude doing it looks a lot less muscular than Lou Ferrigno.
Yes.
And then we cut to them falling off, and they definitely both just slowly fell backwards onto their butts. Like, from a standing position, it was just like they didn't even jump. It was just like a roll backwards.
It was a slight hop, lay back onto a padded mat. And it looks almost like the guy who's trying to the guy in the company who's trying to orchestrate the stealing of his own company's thing is in the helicopter, I think.
Yes. And then they start flying away, and we cut to Hulk and Thor watching the helicopter fly away, and it is straight up a cutscene from an arcade game where they're just like huffing and puffing in like like a really bad GIF with only 2 frames where it's like up, down, up, down, up, down.
And this is where I was like, why doesn't Thor have lightning powers? Because he should have lightninged the helicopter with no one in it.
Just zapped it. Yeah, exactly.
Like, before the woman gets in there, when it's just the main bad guy, it's just the blonde, hunky guy from Die Hard in there with a tranquilizer gun. Just be like, zap, zap, zap.
Yeah, it doesn't make that much sense. So then we get this reporter who we hadn't mentioned earlier, but is like...
I forgot it. It's the first time he's in my notes.
There's like a running C plot, I guess, where this reporter is looking for looking for the Hulk and David Bannon. He doesn't think he actually died. Banner.
He looks like you made Steve Buscemi out of clay and Don Knotts out of clay and then just smushed them together a little bit. Right? Like, that's...
It does. No, you're absolutely right. I was just picturing what that would look like. But this reporter, like, at one point, Hulk recognized him and then ran away, and then they, like, you know, he comes looking for him, and I just still cannot believe he can't tell that this guy is who he's looking for.
Yeah. Well, he also clearly was supposed to be the antagonist of the Thor TV show. Like, clearly it was going to be, this man's, you know, trying to solve the mystery and can't figure it out.
There's nothing sexier as a big bad than a reporter doggedly looking for a superhero. Man, oh man.
A reporter with too many teeth.
I can't wait to tune in weekly to watch this reporter try to track this guy down.
Especially if it's Thor. Trying to track down Thor. Like, can you imagine if the first Avengers had been Thor versus a reporter? Like, Loki's not there at all.
Right.
It's Thor versus a human earthbound reporter.
I've got a big scoop.
There's also, so they cut from the reporter to the reporter, who's like way too smug, by the way.
Yes.
Like, he's at the police press conference being like, oh, you said this is not related? Well, then why do I have 6 witness testimonies saying it's exactly the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, shut up, dude. No one, get out of here.
Not the moment, Derek.
Yeah. So they cut to the apartment where it's Bagnone, and Blake, and they're talking, and then Thor says something, and they have this weird crash zoom onto shirtless Thor in a towel by the fridge. And I was like, what is happening?
He's like just hopped out of the shower, except his hair is perfectly dry, and he's like, he grabs a 6-pack of beer.
He wore a shower cap. It's not his shampoo day.
Yeah. So he grabs a 6-pack of beer and he stabs a knife into it to open it, and then it like fizzes out into this pitcher he's trying to fill, and it's like, wait a minute. You have 6 cans of beer, and instead of just drinking them, you're going to open them each individually with a knife, pour this foamy mess into a pitcher, and then drink it? Like, you're going to be so burpy. You're making it worse.
Well, he is Thor. Yeah, that crash zoom was so bizarre. And so the reporter shows up, and they decide to send Thor to the door to get rid of him by being just aggressive and weird, which, like, would work for me to get rid of me.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
But this reporter feels like not the guy who would be affected by that.
No, absolutely not.
And this is where I wrote, why does the company want to steal its own weapon? Because we cut to the bad guys, which we already said we don't understand why. And then we get what I thought was a poisoning scene where like the head of the company guy, or second tier of the company was like, this wasn't part of the plan. And they're like, we always hear that wasn't part of the plan. And I was like, well, that means you're not good contract people.
This is absolutely set up as a poisoning scene. The way that he hands the glass to the guy, and then the guy drinks the glass, and then he slowly like starts walking backwards. It's like, oh, he's going to fall down because he's poisoned. And then no, that's not what it is at all.
Because the guy who hands him the drink picks up his glass to his lips and then puts it down, like doesn't take a sip and puts it back down, but keeps staring at him. And I was like, oh, poison.
Right.
Like, my mind, I'm so trained to look for poison stuff in movies that I'm just like, found it. That's a poison.
Yeah. Oh, that's poison. Hey, that thing you're drinking? That's poison.
Fun tangent. When I was in high school, we did a murder mystery at a local tea room to raise money. So we wrote a little script. And we had 3 different endings for 3 different nights, so each night a different person was the killer. And the one night, my friend was supposed to be the killer, and she was supposed to poison herself down in the room with everybody. But she had left the vial of poison upstairs in the dressing room, and so I was like, "Oh shit, she has no way to poison herself now." Like the ending is supposed to be like she dies, and then turns out she poisoned herself. So I had to palm it and bring it down, and like pull her into a corner and be like, "Hey, you forgot this upstairs." However, when you're at a murder mystery party, what looks super suspicious is a person calling another character into a corner, quietly handing them something, and then be like, "Now go away." And 3 tables were like, what did you just hand her? And I was like, nothing, it's not important. And then she drinks from the vial and falls dead. So like 6 tables were like, oh, he killed her. He handed her the bottle and then she drank from it. And then they were like revealed at the end. They're like, she poisoned herself. And I was like, I'm so sorry, everybody.
I feel like at that point, adult Andrew is like, we're ad-libbing and I'm the killer now because somebody fucked up. So everyone needs to spread the word.
Well, we're following a script.
Right, I know, but it's like, you gotta go with what happened.
I'm like, I'm also now part of the killer. Like we worked together and I poisoned her at the last minute.
So Hulk is back in his lab and he's holding this giant computer chip. Like the equivalent of what would be the size of your pinky nail today is like a comfortable handful of computer chip. And he's like, this is going to be the cure for me. I was going to be out. I was going to be done with this. And
I was 3 days from retirement.
Yes, exactly. And the guy's like, well, we could just try to fix the lab. And he's like, no, it's not worth it. Pops it in a microwave and he microwaves it.
I think the idea was that if the machine was fully functioning when they got it, they could use it as a weapon. If it arrives with pieces missing and broken, it can't be. So it's the equivalent of him like taking screws out of your IKEA box.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just feel like you are a legitimate superhero and you have a sidekick. Like, I feel like you could dispatch with these bad guys pretty evenly or quickly. And we see later that they are able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. It also looks like it's clearly like made of fondant and chocolate because it goes in the microwave and just melts.
Yeah, it does. So they go visit the beat up guy who was...
Because he got shot, apparently.
Yes.
Plot twist.
Yeah. Not poisoned, but shot. And he's like dying in a hospital bed and he tells them where the woman's being held. So he like... They go to save this woman and he decides to like try to give it a whirl as not Hulk, like as a human. And it's just like, buddy, what do you think is going to happen here? Like this, you obviously know how this goes.
Yeah. And then, Blake is like, hey, I'm going to call on Thor. And I was like, well, to do that, don't you have to shout Odin at the top of your lungs? And you're like trying to be covert and hidden. So instead he Orlando Bloom whisper yells Odin to summon Thor. Yeah.
And please come help me.
Elizabeth. And Thor shows up with no lightning strikes. And like normally when Thor shows up, it's like a Disney fireworks finale. Right. It's just lights and fireworks and lightning.
Right.
And this time it's just like, poof, and he appears.
So they have this big fight. It's like very not good. Hulk and Thor are running around this building getting shot at. Thor picks up a lid and is doing a Captain America shield thing.
Because I guess Thor is more penetrable than a trash can lid on Earth.
Right. And then it's like this trash can lid is like suddenly like you're hearing shots like bong, bong, bong ringing off it.
It's vibranium.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing here?
Retcon, this is the first version of Captain Shield.
Yes. My favorite part is when Hulk picks up like an I-beam, like a large, heavy, steel beam, and like just throws it at a guy. Like that dude's chest would have collapsed. He would have been.
He's dead now.
He would have turned to jelly. Like he would have been disgusting.
Thor also calls Hulk troll, and I think it's really fun and cute. I like that little touch.
Yeah, I did also enjoy. I think the guy who plays Thor is like pretty good. This is just a bad movie.
Yeah, and then they find the bad guy.
Oh wait, we also didn't mention the part where the nebbish like loser half of Thor picks up a M16 and just starts shooting people.
Yeah, how does he know how to shoot that gun? Because I wouldn't.
He shoots a guy like real accurately in the thigh. He shoots Charles Napier in the thigh, and then when they start running away, he just starts like spraying people on the balconies. It's just like chopping them down with bullets.
Like this needed to be the super sexist scene from True Lies where he picks up a gun and fumbles with it.
Yes.
And then it falls and just goes off.
Yes, exactly.
Not him picking it up and being like, I know how to fire this gun and reload it accurately, because no, you don't, buddy.
Right.
So, Hulk takes the bad guy's gun and like bends it like a molding chocolate.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool. Chases him down, picks up a piece of metal and wraps him in it, which, like, if you've ever tried to craft with a thick gauge wire, it does not bend the way you want it to. And if you put fragile things in it, it might break them.
Well, I think he wants to break this guy a little bit.
Well, we're using non-lethal methods for everything else.
Yeah. I really wanted the Hulk to just pop this guy's head like a grape. Like, I feel
I wanted a good Hulk smash his head down, and it's just like push his head into his chest cavity like a Power Rangers toy.
Yeah, like, enough. This guy can go. Sorry.
Some villains deserve to die, and that might put me on a list.
Right.
And then the reporter, so he wraps him in metal, and we get the like classic sitcom laugh, like resolution laugh.
Yes,
where all the characters are like, we got you. Like,
yeah.
This isn't the groundskeeper trying to scare away the townsfolk from the haunted carnival of Scooby-Doo.
He kidnapped a person.
And was going to murder her.
Right.
So we cut to the reporter being yelled at by his editor, who sounds like Doug Funny, being like, you idiot, like, stop trying to pitch this green monster and Viking story. We're never going to run it again. And the reporter says your favorite, newspaper trope, and goes, sold a lot of papers, didn't it?
Yeah. Like, oh my God, with the selling the papers.
Newsies sell papes.
We cut to Thor having a... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
This is where, again, we're like, oh, this is a backdoor pilot. It's to make us really care about his life. It's like, oh, you and Thor are getting pretty chummy. And he's like, yeah, I think I'll keep him around. Like, we get it.
We also had a lovely scene of Thor jogging shirtless on the beach in leather pants.
With a dog.
Yeah.
That was not around at all.
No, and like, I'm not a very athletic man, but I feel like leather pants are not jogging pants.
They're not.
I feel like
they're barely walk around pants.
I feel like that's making a real sauna situation in your business area.
Yeah, leather does not breathe well. And so Thor is running on the beach with the dog, and a woman in that like French cut bikini that looks uncomfortable to like lay in is running down the beach in that.
Yeah. And we're just talking about how cool Thor is and how, like, we should keep him around and, that whole thing. And it's like, oh, yeah, we're doing that backdoor pilot thing. And it's, like, it's such an obvious thing. Like, I don't watch Supernatural anymore, but when I was watching it, they tried to do a backdoor pilot once. And they
did?
Twice they've tried. The second one was after I stopped watching. But there was one in, like... I can't believe I'm going to say this, like maybe season 10 or 11.
You watched till season 10 of Supernatural?
I didn't get off the Supernatural train until like 12.
Girl.
Well, here's the thing. I kept assuming it would be the last one. So there were like...
They negged you hard.
There were 3 years there where I was like, this has got to be the last one, and I just want to watch the end. And it was like, nope. And then another time, and then nope. And another time, and I was like, all right, I'm off the train now. But
once it stopped being spooky daddy issue of the week, I was off, which
There-
is like season 6.
Yeah, so there are still some good single episodes in the later seasons for sure. Some stuff I liked. Like I've been watching Supernatural lately, just like pinging around, and like there's probably a dozen great episodes after season 5. But yeah.
I believe it, but I'm not. You have to tell me what they are because I'm not going to slog through.
Well, like there's one where they literally get sucked into the television and are in an episode of Scooby-Doo. Yeah, like that's fun. I'm here for those. And every time those get advertised, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll watch that one. And then it's like they just hit their 300th episode, and I was like, holy cow, like I bet they're gonna do something fun. And it's like, we're bringing back the mom and the dad somehow for this one episode. And I was like, I don't care about that. Put them in a
Time
TV
travel.
make them fly in a DeLorean or something.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. Because like I really enjoy the first parts of Supernatural when Sam Winchester and I had the same hair.
Yeah.
When I was watching.
Yeah.
Because I would house sit for my friend and take care of their dogs. And during the day when I don't have to work until late, I will like throw on the TV, and I was like, "Oh, a Supernatural marathon!" I forgot TNT literally runs Supernatural
Every
from
day.
like 6 a.m. until 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And they just cycle through, and I happened to catch a like midway through season 1, early season 2 cycle, and I was like, "Oh, sweet!" So I sat down and watched lots of hours of early Supernatural.
Yeah, it's very rewatchable. Like the dumb episode.
The black and white episode was one of the ones, and I was like, I forgot how great this was.
The problem is I always rewatch episodes that are like mostly standalone, except like the last 10 minutes is like how they tie it into the larger story. And I'm like, I don't care about this. I only want to watch the other part.
Get out of here. I don't care that Sammy's evil.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That doesn't affect me what I know. Anyway, that's enough of Supernatural.
Using your powers for evil, Sam.
Let's get off the Hulk train. So
again, do.
Yeah. So
dissecting Supernatural.
But yes, I did watch Supernatural for 12 years. 12 seasons. I watched it in
I'm
fewer
putting
than
that on a
12
t-shirt.
years.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt, and you have to wear it somewhere.
I didn't watch the show when it first started airing, so I think you and I watched like the first 4 years in 1 week at the beach one
That's
summer.
true. That's true.
But anyway, enough about that. So we have this like campfire with Hulk and this woman who we're led to believe he cares about, and he's like, "I'll always love you." Cut to the next morning, and he's just walking away down the beach
to the sad music.
And the dog is barking, and she turns to the dog and is like, "It's not worth it. He's gone." Lady, he's like 250 yards down the beach. Like, I could catch him. You could catch him.
That's a mild-mannered jog down the beach.
Right. And just like, no, oh, he's gone. Okay, then. And that's how this ends. It freeze frames with Hulk sadly walking down a beach with his jacket over his shoulder, like casually having a beach stroll.
And this was supposed to be Thor and what's-his-face, the pilot.
Fair, it does have a fake ending where that's discussed. Where it's like, oh, isn't Thor so good?
Yeah, but like I feel like the Hulk shouldn't have been the last thing we saw for this backdoor pilot.
I agree. Final thoughts, I guess?
I mean, it's easy to find, and it's not long.
No, TV movie, you're in a solid 90 minutes.
No, it's 100. It's 100. That's what I hate, that it's so padded, because you could trim off 10 minutes and I would be happier. I don't know.
I would not recommend this.
It's not the worst thing I've ever watched, but I'm not going to say go out and watch it.
And we're going to play a new game called, Is This Movie Good to Watch When You're Stoned on Cold Medicine? And the answer is no, but apparently it's just as confusing if you're not on cold medicine.
Yeah, it is on Morning Martini.
Oh, that's right. You said that off air.
I did.
Yeah.
So I did the thing where I was like, it's been a long, hard weekend. I'm going to fix myself a martini. And I sat in bed with my martini and drank half of it and fell asleep for 9 hours. And then woke up to half a martini on my nightstand. And I had to watch this movie, and I was like, well, this martini's not going to waste.
This martini's not going to drink itself.
I turned into Mad Men, the TV show.
I like how that this podcast we do for fun is now causing you to drink at 9:30 in the morning.
Just gin, vermouth, and a little pickle juice.
If you'd like to hear more of us drinking, I would like to remind you, as we said earlier at the top of the show, that if we get to $80 on Patreon by the end of this month, which is closing soon, it's only about a week left.
Where are we now?
We're going to do a power hour. Well, I don't want to say where we are now because we're recording about a week ahead.
As of this recording,
we're about $25, $26. So
away.
Yeah. if we get there collectively in the month of February, we will do our commentary track as a power hour. It will probably be also a trank because I will go to sleep right after because
comedy tranquilizer.
Because I am about to be 32 years old and power hours are a thing that I should have long left in the past. But yes, please do not watch this. I don't think you should waste your time here. I'm sure there are other better episodes of The Incredible Hulk, and the other movies might be better. So I'm not trying to crap all over your Bixby Ferrigno Hulk.
Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll hit the show again.
Mostly it's 70s.
But there are a few. Are there like 2 seasons in the 80s?
Yeah, no, it could definitely come back. We'll see. Maybe if Hulk ever gets his own movie, we'll do another one.
Probably he'll get another one before Black Widow gets one.
No, it'll never happen. It's a very complicated, silly rights issue, but they're never going to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't get to keep all the money.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yes, I would say don't watch this, but thank you for joining us. I can't believe I forgot to say earlier, this is the conclusion of Fourbruary, so thank you.
That's true.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us on yet another one of these silly adventures. If you'd like to get more of the show, dissectingthe80s.com has everything you'd ever want or need. You can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. On Twitter, it's at dissectthE80s. Just look for Dissecting the 80s on Facebook. You can write us at dissectingthe80s@gmail.com and leave us a message at 856-DISSECT if you got something you want to let us know. And then most importantly, please review the show. iTunes is a big boost for us, but we will take your review anywhere you can get it. And if you are reviewing it somewhere other than iTunes, just send us a screenshot and we will read that on the air. So thank you, everybody out there, for doing that and supporting the show. And don't forget to check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/dissectingthe80s. If you sign up now at the $5 level, you get 3 episodes immediately. Roger Rabbit, Top Gun, and The Great Muppet Caper. So sign up now and you'll get those 3 episodes immediately for $5. Pretty great deal, if you ask me. Oh, we forgot to tell them what's next.
You are really hopped up on cold.
I am really hopped up on the cold medicine. We will be back on March 11th with all the marbles tying into the wrestling comedy Fighting With My Family. So we get to hang out with Peter Falk again. I'm so excited.
Woo woo!
So genuinely excited. Thank you once again for listening to the show. I have been the sentient cold virus that has taken over the body of Tripp Leno.
I will always be Andrew Leno.
Until March 11th.
Don't you forget about me.
Dissecting the 80s is a Chum Some of This production.